There are some things that can be called the absolute wonders of life, like eating a nice apple pie, going on a nice hike and seeing a nice view, the birth of your first child, then playing Persona 3 Reload for the very first time. Persona 3 Reload changed my bitch ass life. I think I became a whole new person after I finished beating that game. And I feel like it's going to change how I perceive video games as a whole and how I play video games from this point on. Before I talk about the gameplay, we gotta talk about how amazing P3R is with an art direction and the art design and the sound design standpoint. The aesthetics of this game is crazy, and I think this game really passes the judge the book by its cover test. This game has so much sauce, like even the title screen is saucy, like how it's just like a classroom, and then once you press like enter or whatever, like it changes perspectives in the classroom. Just as small as that is so cool. It kind of gives me like an unsettling feeling, but it's also very unique and very interesting and kind of welcoming as well. I don't know how to explain it. And then when you go into the game, you have the main menu where it like is the character like drowning in water, and as you navigate through the menu, the character just mogging you for some reason, is doing different poses. He's really him for real, and it just looks so cool and so unique. The little sound design snippets when it goes ding 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 as you're switching between the menus, hard, goes crazy, and just little things like that that really make the menu really stand out. I think my favorite sub menu is when he's like has the glass at his face and is switched between the party members when you're in the I think the stats menu. That's really cool. That's really hard. Or like the tarot menu when he's like has the tarot cards flipping through his hand. That's also very cool. No one's doing it like Atlus. Like, come on, guys. And then you combine that with the amazing music in this game, and you probably heard time and time again, if you haven't played a Persona game, that the Persona music is amazing, and it is. Only certain games can have a whole concert. Guys, think about that. Atlus had like a world tour or like a live concert for their games. Only certain games can do that. Halo's not doing that. GTA is not doing that. I'm sorry, it's only big Atlus here, only big Persona. The music in this game is so good, and if you're like, is the music in Persona really that good? You definitely probably have heard a Persona soundtrack somewhere, especially with Persona 5 and how popular that soundtrack got. Especially on YouTube, a lot of YouTubers use the Persona 5 soundtrack in the background. It appears in a lot of those like study with me YouTube videos. It's really popular, and if you don't care to play Persona games at all, please at least give the soundtrack a listen, because it's absolutely beautiful. And when it really amplifies the gaming experience. When I was playing Persona, I told my girlfriend I wanted to play Persona. She kind of, was like, ugh. I gave her the ick for real. Like, she really, it was a red flag. I'm not gonna lie. But as I was playing through P3R, and she was sitting on the couch doing her own thing. She really got super into the music and started really liking it. And anytime I boot up P3R, she got like excited for me to play it, because you get to hear the great music, and she would like sing along and all that stuff.
I never feel like so miserable.
And not gonna lie, I think Persona 3 might have Pavloved me. I think because the music is so good, as soon as you hear the songs, you get too excited to play and you just want to keep going. I think that happened to my girlfriend as well. As soon as she heard the music, she's like, oh, cool, I'm gonna lock in, and she would watch me play it. And that's the whole thing. I think a lot of game developers need to realize that the music and the aesthetic of the game, the sound design, they all really matter, and they can amplify the gaming experience and will encourage you to keep playing. Think of like Kingdom Hearts 2, for example, how iconic the opening is, and how iconic the little menu sound bites is when you're clicking on things and scrolling through things. Think of Final Fantasy 7 with the same thing with the menu sounds and the Sephiroth theme. Hearing those gets you excited and amped up. So you might look at it and be like, maybe I'm not interested in a turn-based combat system, or I'm not usually interested in these type of games. But because this game has such a cool aesthetic, you may be like, let me get involved. I got involved with that. Persona does have like two sides of like gameplay where they're both like, not popular. Where one side is a turn-based combat from a JRPG, where you're fighting shadows, you're fighting the bosses, you're exploring Tartarus. Then there's the other side where it's your daily life, where you go, you go to school, you study, you make friends, you hang out, you go to work. And I completely understand where people are like, why do I want to do that in a video game when I do that in real life? I don't want to study or go to work in a video game. I just want to shoot bad guys, or, do this puzzle or whatever, and like be done with my day. I don't want to have to do all of that. and I can understand where that's coming from. But the thing is, like, those two sides of the gameplay integrate really well with each other, and it makes you excited to do each end. Like, the more connections you make with people and the more you hang out with certain people in the daily life aspect, the stronger your personas get in the combat aspect. And that's really cool, and it integrates really well. And not gonna lie, the daily life aspect I might have been my favorite part of the game. I really liked developing my relationships with this well-rounded cast of characters. All the main cast and all the side cast were so full of personality that they really felt like their own person. It was really cool. You know, from the monk trying to get his wife back, from the track star worrying about whether he's going to continuously, you know, keep running and then, you know, might not be able to walk again, or, you know, just give up his track career. Then you also got the elderly couple who, you know, thinks of you like their son, and they're, you know, worrying about this tree getting cut down. And I low-key got really attached to that elderly couple, not gonna lie. They were my favorite. I was so excited every day to see them. It's gonna be kind of crazy, but with this 80 hours I spent with this game, I got really attached to these guys. I was like, oh my god, why do I feel like these people are my friends? This is crazy. But not Kenji though. I did not want to develop his social link at all. I hated talking to him. The man was just only thing I wanted to talk about was how he's getting groomed by the teacher and how he was going for it. That's all he wanted to talk about. Every day it was like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out and see this girl. I'm gonna marry the teacher, blah blah. And it's like, bro, you don't want to talk about video games? You want to talk about the game, bro? You want to talk about the basketball game, the track game? Nigga, what are your hobbies? Nigga, only talking about, oh, I'm about to get groomed. I'm about to go see this teacher real quick. This 40-year-old woman. I'm about to go see this 40-year-old woman. Nigga, what? You're a victim. A victim. I hate that one part where he's like, I'm gonna marry her. And I'm like, I don't think you should do that. It hasn't even been a year yet since y'all been dating. And he just yells at you, just goes all off on you.
I'm seriously in love with Emiri, and I'm gonna marry her. Then Emiri Kana will be known as Emiri Tomochika, and I will make her the happiest wife ever. Sorry, I just want you to back me up, you know?
When he did that, I was like, that's the last time I'm hanging out with you. That's the last time I'm seeing you again. I even fell in love with Nozomi a little bit. He was still annoying, but at the end where like you reminisce and like you catch up on the characters, like where their life is now, when he was like, I got a little McDonald's menu. I was like, good for you. Got a little McDonald's menu item. I'm like good for you, bro. You grew up. At least you got something, bro.
All right, now in reverse. Let's moonwalk.
Or when like Hayase gave you that letter and he was like, hey, you know, I'm doing good. You know, my family's helping me out. You know, this job is doing well, and I'm trying to run again with my coworkers. I was like, wow. His life is really turning around, and he's getting healthy. And like there has to be characters somewhere in this cast, because there's such a wide cast that you like resonate with. And I really resonate with him because I understand like how it is to like not have the weight of like family or like friend issues on your shoulders, and you have to go through that. I completely understand that. So when he was going through that, I was like, damn, me and you we're locked in, twin. Yeah, it's just heartfelt. And then you pair all the social link stuff with the calendar system, it really like amplifies your attachment to these characters, because some characters you choose to hang out with, or others, and gets you more excited to hang out with them because like, damn, I cannot wait till Thursday so I get to deepen my connection with this character. But not only that, because you only have a certain amount of time to hang out with these characters before the school year ends, you miss out on like hanging out with some characters versus others. You miss out on their connections and their stories. I'm not gonna lie, I raised up a little baddie team. Crazy numbers, made major buckets, raised her up. And it was kind of crazy because when she was like flirting back, I'm not gonna lie, our real nigga got butterflies. Our real nigga got a little butterfly. Like, oh my god. And my girlfriend was playing right next to me, and as I was like flirting with her about it, she was like giving me like the side eye, like, babe, it's just a game. It's just a game, I swear, it's just a game. But low-key, she was giving me little butterflies in my stomach. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of kicking my feet up in the air and shit when I was playing. I was like, god damn. I will say though, I do think the game needs more after school activities, really regarding like the actual mini game aspect of the after school activities. I felt like when you go to the library and study, or you like go eat somewhere or whatever, you just watch like a little cutscene or whatever, and then like that's it. I would like it to be like a mini game. Like, okay, if I go study and I do this mini game real quick, the better I do this mini game, the more points I get or something. So it can really like give more stuff to do, after school, like actually more of a gameplay aspect to those things after school. I know P5 has more of that, and looking at the looks of P4R, it does look that it would have that aspect as well. And I think that also like translates actually to like some parts of the story as well. Like when you went to the festival with the rest of the group, and they were like, oh, the only thing you do there is like see the girls in the kimonos, and you just walk around and you don't do anything in this small space. You just walk around and you go. You can honestly, like after you see the girls in the kimono, you can literally leave, go back to your room right away. Nothing happens in that little scene. It's like, okay, why did y'all even hype up this whole festival thing if I couldn't, like, there's no mini game or no choices really to make here for real. I kind of felt the same way a little bit with the what was it, the hot springs trip. At least that had a little hot spring mini game where you're hiding from the girls in the hot spring type of thing. But majority of that section wasn't really that crazy. I wish there was more things to do. Maybe more animated cutscenes could have happened during those moments, or again, even some gameplay stuff would have helped as well. But I just felt like they kind of just happened and they didn't really matter to me. The festival trip, at least the beach trip and the hot spring trip, I do like more because more kind of happened. But on the flip side, I did really like hanging out with the rest of the group outside of school, like at night of the C's group, where you're going on walks with Koromaru and really petting that dog, hanging out with Sonata, watching movies with Ken. Those were really cool, and I did really hold those in my heart as well.
Shake. Is shake the command given to request paws on one's head? I comprehend.
Then there's like the dungeon crawling and combat aspect of the game, where each full moon gives you another 20 blocks or 20 floors of Tartarus to go through. And that's you beat those 20 floors, and like you can't progress further till you progress to another boss phase or another full moon. Each 20 floors have different shadows or monsters that you have to beat in turn-based combat. And it's basically classic JRPG combat, but a little amplified. Like you have your physical moves, and then you have your persona moves, which is basically your mana or magic moves in other JRPGs. And those were fun to use because each shadow has different weaknesses, and you can cycle through your personas during your turn to figure out, okay, what persona should I use for what to get what skills, or what persona should I use to also like make me not get weak to the shadows abilities. It was a nice little switch up from the classic JRPG. And then you have like, if they use a strong attack against a shadow and they go down, they can do an all-out attack, which is a little cutscene thing. And that was a little cute. That was pretty cool. I really did like the theurgies, if I'm pronouncing that right, that the characters would do, basically like little super moves or cutscenes that they would do to inflict more damage or do some status effects. And all of that helped the gameplay loop not become so mundane. Some people also don't like Tartarus, I saw online, and I completely understand that, and they don't like it because of how repetitive the actual dungeon crawling aspect of Tartarus can be. The environment doesn't really change all that much. It only really changes on like major like story parts, and even then you kind of just like walking around each floor, and then until you find the stairs to go up. There's no puzzles to really solve. There's nothing really like of that sort really do on those floors, so I completely understand that, and that's why a lot of people also really mess with Persona 5 because it gives more of that. Completely understandable. It wasn't great, but I liked it for what it was. It did its job in my opinion. The shadows in Persona have really good character design and really good, like, it's really good design in general. But I was kind of getting tired of running to the same enemy over and over again towards the later half of the game. I really kind of diversified it, a little more. What I also did not like though was using Koromaru. He would just they opted for a human voice instead of using like an actual dog voice to voice this dog. So constantly I would have to hear this dog. Every move the dog would do, they would have to make a noise, and it's like you don't have to do that. Can you not? And there's no hate to the voice actor or anything like that. I just wish they did not give the voice actor so many lines, or it was just annoying, and the dog was just I hated hearing it. And I did like as well how they allowed you to level up your other party members if you didn't. So like you have like, I want to say like 8 party members maybe or something, and you can only use 4 like at a time. So some party members would become under level because you don't use them as much. The issue is though that I feel like it didn't happen as frequently as it should have. Apparently, you had to spend Twilight fragments or something to get it, but like there's no amount of Twilight fragments that you need to do. There's no like set amount. Like you just have to constantly spend Twilight fragments on smaller boxes, and then eventually you may get a clock or something. That was kind of weird to me. I didn't really mess with that. Back to the personas though, fusing those personas was really cool, and again of how it intertwined with their social links, because it's like, okay, luckily I really leveled up the hermit persona with this dude. I got really developed this social link, so all my hermit personas are gonna get bonus levels, and I can, you know, maxing out a social link or friendship will allow me to fuse even more personas and all that stuff. That was super cool, and I liked really how they did that, because it kind of forced you again to, you know, develop those connections to get the personas that you would want. And all the persona designs were really fire. Like they were really cool. Satan was cool. Jack Frost was cool. The only one I did not like was that penis persona. I don't know why they even put that in the game.
A new power emerges.
Like you just put a whole dick on my screen for what reason? And I want to know if anyone even used that persona. Was he good or anything like that? Like what was his animation when he was attacking? I gotta know. But I was not going to use the Glizzy persona. I'm good off that. Using personas was also really cool, and it was something that you never really experienced in like another game, where you're basically getting rid of the cool characters, the cool personas that you might think have an interesting character design or think are powerful, and you fuse them with other personas to get an even stronger one. So you basically, it's forcing you to get rid of the attachment to those personas that you may have. I never had it before, so sometimes, you know, I like Jack Frost. I kind of held on to him a little too long, even though he's a little underleveled, because I was like, he's cute. I like him. I don't want to give him away. One thing I do not like though is that in order to use personas in the Velvet Room, you needed to have a free slot in your persona list or whatever, in your held personas. But to get a free slot, if you had full slots, is that you need to remove the personas from your list in your menu. So you had to exit the Velvet Room, then release them, and then go back in the Velvet Room and fuse the personas that you want to fuse. That was very annoying. I hated having to do that, especially if all the other personas I had in my list I did not want to fuse. So I'd have to exit, release them, and then go back in, and then I could fuse one from like the maybe like the list or the compendium or something like that. Yeah, the compendium. I have to go in, and then I can buy things from the compendium. That was pretty frustrating. I also held on to personas too much based on their abilities that they had. You know, some of them, you know, abilities didn't transfer over like that. So I was like, I need to keep this persona because it has a cool ability that I like, and I don't want to get rid of it, or has some status elements that like I might need, like, and all that stuff. And I didn't want to fuse them and held on to them because I was trying to strategize. But the issue of this game is that it's not really that hard, and that's the problem I have with this Persona game, where once you get used to the battle system, it's kind of easy. You kind of have to pay attention and make sure you don't make any like simple mistakes. And that's the only time I ever like died or lost is because I was making simple mistakes. Like, oh, I'm on 1% health and the enemy is maybe like at 100. I kind of want to risk hitting him to see if I can kill him before he kills me, and then he will kill me or whatever. And I only died maybe like a total of like 5 times that the entire thing. The game was a little too easy, and especially the bosses that they would do on every full moon or whatever, the story bosses were super easy. I feel like the dungeon bosses were a little bit more difficult than the story bosses. They kind of let you just dog walk the story bosses a little bit, and I was like, what is going on here? They never really posed an actual threat or challenge at all, especially because it's pretty easy to gain levels in this game with the whole, you know, you shuffle time thing, and then you get the experience tarot card. So it's super easy to level up, and it's super easy to get skill cards for your personas to, you know, strengthen their endurance or their attack power or anything like that. And I tried not to use any of those skill card enhancement things because I wanted the game to be more difficult. But even without not using them, the game was still easy, and I was forced to, you know, make my character higher level and constantly get those EXP tarot cards because I wanted to fuse the personas at a higher level. Like some personas were locked by level. If I was like level 70 or level 80, and I wanted to get those personas, but the only way for me to get those personas is if I level up. And if I level up, the game gets too easy. It's a sad loop, and I understand why Atlus may make it easier, because on one end, I want the game to be more difficult. I love games with more of a challenge, but then again, this game is 80 hours. It took me like 90 hours to actually beat this game, and I understand if they made it more difficult, it would take longer, of course, to finish the game. And some people might just drop it. Like, some people are not really into the whole that like long of a journey and how long the game is to complete. Some people might not really mess with that. So if you make it even longer, you might not get as high as a completion time. So I completely understand why they make it kind of the easier side, but I also wish they kind of gave you the option to, you know, make it more difficult. Like, hey, if I want like a hard mode or anything like that, allow me to do that. The actual boss battle designs were cool. They all look really cool. I saw one YouTube short, I think, that was like describing how one of the boss battles were actually the little symbols or little statues that were in the school, and you would basically fight the statues in the school for one boss battle. They were really cool, all really well designed. The environment layout, stage layout for the boss battles were also really cool. I just wish they, you know, carried that aura with them in their strength, in their attacking prowess, if you will. Speaking of the boss battles, I guess we should also technically speak about the actual plot and like story of the game, and how Shrega are frauds. Shrega actually did not pose a single threat in this entire game. Like, when Shrega gets first introduced, you are like, damn, who are these guys? They have so much aura, they're so mysterious. There's a dude with no shirt on, just jeans, he has a gun tucked. Like, oh, so mysterious. This is gun tucked, no shirt, long hair. Who is this dude? He's so cool. And then you fight him like 2 or 3 times, and you just beat the shit out of him each time.
Salvation has come! Hypno!
Oh shit! What?
I have a bad feeling about this. Please get up!
I can use spirit chi.
Don't matter why you can use theory, that nigga dead.
Everyone, quickly!
You don't gotta heal nobody, this nigga's dead.
You can't keep talking like you have some aura or you have some authority, and you can't keep walking around here with no shirt on, just jeans, and be lame and be weak. That you're losing aura. You know, it just makes you look like you're weird. Having no shirt on, just jeans, you can be like, okay, he's like he could be strong, like he's mysterious. But then when you beat him like back to back, it's kind of just like, dude, put on a shirt. Put on a shirt, bro. It's February, man. It's cold. I know you're cold. Put on give up the gimmick. like I'm over it. I did fuck with Chidori though. Chidori was pretty cool. I did fuck with her heavy. You know, seeing Chidori, you know, open up to Junpei, and Junpei, you know, also develop into himself, you know, getting closer to Chidori, him learning more and being more of a mature person. I felt like that was really cute. It was really nice little story. Major spoiler. I did not know that you could save Chidori. I did Junpei's whole social link, but I did not know I had to give that man a flower, and at the end, Dori came back alive. I didn't know that, and I'm kind of mad I did not get that. Also, another major spoiler, it was very sad when at the end of the game, and you know, you're talking to Junpei before everyone remembers, you know, what happened with the shadows and everything like that. You're talking to him, and he's like, I have a girlfriend. Wait a minute, like, do I have a girlfriend? And he's like so sad because he felt like he forgot something important. You know, with Chidori, but he can't remember that he forgot Chidori.
You have no idea how stoked he was. Honestly, I was getting major secondhand embarrassment. Well, none of that really matters to me. I already got a special I did have a special someone, right? I'm not making this up or anything. I wouldn't tell such a pathetic lie to try and look cool. I just thought that there was someone special in my life. Have I forgotten something important? Something I never should have forgotten? Sorry, man. I think I'll pass on the ramen, actually.
That crushed my heart. I was like, oh my god. And shout out to the voice actor of Junpei, man. Shout out to Zeno, man. He really, he did an amazing job on Junpei. Many like twists and turns the plot had was something that I was not expecting, and this type of game like at all. Like for example, like the major spoiler, the principal being like a bad dude this entire time, that was the craziest plot twist I ever saw. I literally, it came out of left field. He was my favorite dude. His little puns, everything like that, I really fucked with him heavy. We were like this, and he brought me Aegis. So I was like, oh, Aegis is supposed to be protecting me. So like this principal dude has to be a good dude. And then he goes and kills Mitsuru's dad and almost does a whole ritual sacrifice. Like this nigga's crazy. Like what the fuck? That was a crazy out of left field turn. He just crashed out of nowhere, and then he just fell off and like killed himself. Like, bro, you just brought the world to end for what reason, man? Then Ryoji, being you,
He even transferred to your school.
A transfer student? You don't mean...
That's right. I've lived inside him for a long time.
that also came out of left field. I guess I should have like thought about that while I was developing my social link with Ryoji and go through the story, because like he came around when your little child you left, but like it actually being like, oh yeah, I guess like sealed Nyx in you when you were a kid, and that's why he came to you as a kid in your dreams and all that stuff. That was crazy, and I low-key messed with Ryoji heavy. I like the little friendship that Ryoji and Junpei was having. I really fucked with that, and it kind of just felt like, damn, I have to kill him. I felt really sad about that. Now thinking about it though, it kind of makes sense that Junpei and Ryoji were close, because Junpei was on my dick the entire game.
Oh, now I'm the leader?
Seeing how Junpei developed throughout the game was an experience, because I tell you, I was not messing with him for the first like 20 or 30% of the game. I was like, do you need to like, why are you so on my dick about me being the leader? I'm the leader because I'm the realest in the party, bro. Why are you on me for so long? But then seeing why he was like that, because he was insecure, and he wanted to be felt needed, and of course like high school kid stuff, I guess, and then him becoming mature and like being more involved with like the team. Like he was setting up like more hangout activities with the team. He's always like the one that like brings everybody in for real. Junpei really values like friendship and quality time and all of that, and I really fuck with that. What I really like about this game is that as you grow with these characters, the growth of these characters don't really seem like out of left field, I guess. Like they're not just like at 1 minute of like, oh, I'm this way, and then they completely flip to a whole nother way. They are still their core selves at the end of the day, but they're just more mature. And that kind of makes sense, because this is only like a year of time for real, and these are like high school kids. Like for example, like Junpei, for example, as he does develop, becomes less hot-headed, way less outburst, and like he's way less critical. He does have his moments where he like does say some things he shouldn't say, or he still is that like horny ass dude, constantly trying to hit on girls or see some shit. But even though he does throughout the game become more mature, he's still at his core him, because that's still his character. Like he still needs to develop his other personality traits. He still needs to mature in other ways, but you're not going to see that within a year. Like none of these characters are perfect. None of these characters are one-dimensional. They all have their baggage, and they all go through the baggage at their own pace, and they still are themselves. Like for example, like Yukari, people try to say that she's more of the bro character, which I completely understand. But her whole thing with her father and her feeling a type of way to Mitsuru and her animosity to her, and how she works through that, was also a really great experience. And how she also handles her relationship with her mother after her dad died. All of that was like super cool to witness and be a part of, and seeing how they work through that was really heartwarming. The game, on top of that, also handles grief in like such a good way, and I feel like Aragaki dying was such a good example of this. Pour one out for my nigga, man. Pour one out for Aragaki. He was the realest one, the coldest one. He had the coldest fit. He had the beanie on, and they killed my dude. They got him gone, and they just couldn't handle his realness. His character arc and him passing away was so just heart-wrenching. Just like I felt that. Like I really felt that. And not just because he passed away, but because how the game built his character, and how the game showcased the effects of his death after. The game really starts off with Aragaki being like that, like mysterious, like dude that's like off on his own and all of that, and then eventually he starts becoming more on the team. He starts hanging out with you more. Like he starts like taking you out for ramen. You start helping him with like his school stuff, trying to get him to school. Dude, he's going on walks with you in Koromaru, and you're really getting like used to him. You're really getting like attached to him and all that. Him taking me out sometimes felt like, oh, this is like an older brother. It kind of felt crazy. It's like, oh, this is like a mentor and all of that. It was really cool. Like when the older kid thinks that, hey, you're a cool kid, like you're a good dude. It was like, oh, what? Oh shoot, I'm with the big kids. Oh shit. And then he passes away so suddenly. And that was just like, damn, I wasn't expecting him to die like that. Like you knew he was dying because like he was taking the pills and all that stuff. So you knew he was dying, but you just don't expect it to happen in that like moment. And then what really hurts though is like after his death, or after his death, the school's having a ceremony for him, and there are kids, talking about like, oh, who's Aragaki? Like I don't even know who this kid is who we're having a ceremony for. Oh, wasn't he like a thug or whatever? He never came to school. Blah blah, talking crap about him, but also just being ignorant to who he is. Then Junpei stands up and he's like, all of y'all shut up. Stop talking about my nigga. All of y'all shut up. Y'all don't know anything.
Huh? What the hell's your problem? Shut up. Huh? What are you getting up for?
I said shut the hell up!
Iori, sit down.
Damn it!
And that really I was like, oh, that really, ooh. Because that situation does seem like realistic. Like if a kid died in your school, there probably would be like some kids being like, I don't even know who that dude is. Like, oh, wasn't he up to this, blah, blah. There probably would be one or two kids doing that. And Junpei having to get up and like, y'all shut up. That really like, oh, he's really feeling it for real. And then even after that though, how like the music changes and how you try to like talk to the rest of the group to like go out to Tartarus or just talk to them in general, and like none of them are having, like none of them want to go. They're all sad. They're all either in their rooms or just like not talking like at all. And it was like that for like a week or whatever, where you're going through like the calendar days grieving this character. And that's crazy. I have never experienced that before, where in like other games, a character dies or whatever, and it's a quick little like 10 minutes of like, oh no, the character died, and then you get over it, or like maybe like an hour of it or whatever, if that. Or like a quickly revenge thing, and they get the revenge and they don't really mention the character dying like ever again. And then having to pick up his stuff out of his room was like, dang man, like I gotta pick up your stuff out of your room. And then you see that note that he was like, or the letter that he was gonna try to go back to school, and then seeing that, it's like, fuck, if he just had more time. Crazy, man. Pour one out for Aragaki, man. I'm almost silence for man Aragaki, man. I also like how the calendar system, or like gameplay overall, really amplifies the theme of the game. Time is finite, and you won't always have time to spend with your friends and family. So enjoy the moments that you have with them. Do what really matters in life, which is developing connections and making friends and just hanging out with family and all that stuff. Like that is what's important in life. And you're gonna have to make some choices of like, okay, whether should I study or should I spend time with them, or should like of course there's no life gets in the way and you whatever, but like the theme is really just like really connections are important. I hate to say it, but I think I'm a bona fide Persona fan. I think I love Persona, and it sucks because I don't want to say that out loud.
I like it in here. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Not only is it like, oh, you're a Persona fan? Ew. No, I don't care what people think about what type of games I enjoy. But the community, most of the community is cool if you get to know the community, but like some of the community is really weird and like bigoted, and it's like, do you guys even play the game that y'all claim to enjoy? Because this game is very quote unquote woke or whatever. Is very, very strange. And also they're very like Debbie Downers. They're like, ew, I don't like, why is Persona like this? I hate Persona 3. I hate Persona 4. Ew, Persona 4 Revival looks like shit. Oh, P5 is the worst Persona. It's like, Do y'all enjoy the games they are claimed to enjoy? Because if you hate every Persona game, what Persona game did y'all enjoy? That's like literally all over like Twitter and online. I just see people just hating on Persona constantly, and it's like, guys, why do we do this? The Persona community, I think, has the most LARPers of any gaming community I've ever seen. It's insane, and it's also LARPing an 80-hour game. Y'all can just admit y'all didn't play Persona. Like that, it's okay. It's an 80-hour game. Not everyone has time to spend 80 hours on a game. Y'all don't need a LARP about it. It's crazy because I only beat one Persona game, and that's probably more than what 50% of the Persona community has completed. Overall, the actual core of the community, some people on the Reddits and on like TikTok and all that stuff, they have been cool and have been helpful and all of that. Just like the vocal minority of y'all, kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, some of y'all are kind of weird. This game will definitely change the way I consume other video games from now on. It really changes my perspective on how other video games present themselves and their characters and their story and their art. It changes a lot for me, because I feel like all of that matters. The way your menu screen looks, the way your UI looks, all of that I think matters and really like sticks with you the most out of a game. And I know that's stupid, like dumb that, like you can think in your head like dumb that, why does that matter? Like why does it matter how the menu looks or anything like that? I completely understand if it's not the same way for you, but for me, like the overall package of how the game is given to me and presented really sticks with me a lot. I'm a visual person. Like I want my things to look pretty, I want everything to look cool, and I'm presenting something bland and mundane or just not as interesting, it doesn't really resonate with me as much. With how good the music in P3R is, I just can't go back to listening to like the same mundane, repetitive, like ambient music that a lot of games give you nowadays, like RPGs, like Western RPGs give you. And it's kind of like, this is not like, can we get something different? Can y'all put more heart into it? Like come on, not saying that they don't, but it's just not the same. Like I want to be seeing heartbreak. I want to be vibing with it. Like I want to be dancing and singing along to my game as I'm playing it. And I understand, like certain games have different purposes and all that. I completely understand that. But with P3R, actually like experiencing a game like that for the first time, I don't know if I can ever like play another game and not think in the back of my head, I'm like, y'all could have went harder here. I think Atlus really understands that, because Persona is just a growing series, just getting more and more popular. And I think because of the music, because of the character designs and the aesthetic of the game, the art, I think it puts more people into the door than other JRPGs. P3R is not a perfect game by any means, but I will say Atlus has given me a caliber of games that no other company has yet presented to me as consistently. I will say that. I have Metaphor. I'm probably going to play that next. I played the demo of it, absolutely love it. I'm going to try to finish that before P4 Revival comes out, because that game looks absolutely gorgeous. I've been trying to set up the internet. I don't want to look at any of the art or any of the demos from it. I want to go into it blind. I'm trying to ignore it, but it's just everywhere. And it's crazy because it's insane how popular P4R seems to be. And maybe this is my timeline, but I see a lot of people talking about it. I think it got like the most watched trailer at the Xbox Game Showcase, I believe. And that just goes to show you that gamers love these type of games. Gamers want these games. So as more studios and more like heads of these companies will put more into these type of games, because I think the audience is there for it. I really do think the audience is there for it, and I think you could really have people learn to love these games if they're presented in a more broad and open scale, if that makes sense. I'm probably gonna make this like a series where I just complete a game and I just talk about it, no matter how old the game is or how new or how niche the game is. So I hope I can bring y'all with me to on this journey. And please like, please subscribe, please comment. Please let me know if you liked Persona 3 Reload. Please tell me if you have not played P3R, if you're thinking about playing it. I'd love to know. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.